He woke up to find his wife had brought two black men home, and what's worse, he can't stand it. They used his cup. He threw them away as soon as the blacks left. To make ends meet, he interviewed for a job, but the employer was a well-dressed black man. He asked Tony if he'd mind working for a black man. For $100 a week, he relented. No. And he chose Tony for a reason. He was interested in Tony's ability. Before he lost his job, Tony was an aggressive nightclub publicist. He could handle any situation that came up. And he had a secret way of getting close to the rich. The gangster told the girl to keep his hat. Then he gave her a nice tip. Tony then gave her a tip and asked the girl to give him her hat. Eventually, the big man lost his hat on the way out. He threatened to burn the place down, and Tony miraculously found the hat for him. So not only did he not lose money, he got the big man's favor, but due to the renovation of the club, Tony lost his job. He parked his car in front of his house. He covered a fire hydrant with a garbage can to avoid traffic laws. Tony loved his family. With his financial resources cut off, he had to find something to do. An appetizer bet. He ate 16 hot dogs and won $50.
You are so lucky.
Thanks to his excellent public relations skills, Tony got a phone call. A doctor named Jerry needed a driver, but when he arrived for the interview, it was a concert hall. The doctor lived above the concert hall. The house was filled with statues, all kinds of high-end stuff. In a few moments, a black man appeared, dressed in fine clothes. He sat on the throne opposite Tony. That's Jerry. He's not a doctor. He was a pianist of great renown, a music academician. He wanted more than a chauffeur, but a chauffeur who could smooth out emergencies for him, because he was traveling south for an 8-week tour. In those days, the South was more discriminatory against Negroes. Shelley was willing to take Tony up on his offer, but what he said next put Tony off.
I need someone who can launder my clothes, shine my shoes.
When Tony heard that, he said no.
Good luck, Doc.
Shelley wanted to fight a little more. After all, he was recommended as the most reliable one. Tony also took a step back. He could have smoothed out his troubles along the way, but it was impossible for him to be a servant, and his salary was mentioned at $125 a week. Shelley arrogantly refused.
Thank you for stopping by.
But the next morning Shelley called. He wanted to talk to Tony's wife. Not only did he agree to Tony's request, he also thoughtfully asked for Tony's wife's opinion.
What do you say?
He wanted to know if I'd be okay with him taking my husband away from his family for 2 months.
His wife was a little upset, but she was sensible.
I told him it was okay for you to go.
Before he left, Tony received a green book, a guide to safe travel for Negroes. It listed which hotels and restaurants served black people. He was accompanied by 2 other musicians, and so the 4 of them set off in 2 cars.